How are you?
Good. Thank you for asking. So, how does the show change and refocus under your guidance?
Um, we dig in deeper on character and conflict. We spent a lot of season two uh kind of focused on one thing. All of season one was about a man who had held secrets forever, and those secrets came back to not only haunt him but threaten to tear his family apart. So what happens when he has this big revelation at the end of one? Does he share it with his family or not? And we decided that there was more story in him trying to make others understand what he was going through and what conflict would come out of that, because all of this stuff is bigger than all of it.
What tonal shifts occur on the series and among the characters for the second season?
Tonally, we stay in the same place. We still have mystery. We still have this driving narrative of Autumn versus Royal. Um, and we didn't back off of that. I think where we live is, once people start telling secrets and once people start talking about things that they haven't spoken of in like years, if not decades, is that we have to get internal. We have to understand why those people were doing those things, why they were holding back, and the damage that it's inflicted on other people and how they deal with that. And we deal with it on both sides of the Tillersons and the Abbotts. We kind of wanted to dig into each of those sides in a way that you would come to understand why they are driven the way they are. And for Wayne, it's like, he what a lot of people don't talk about is that when Royal came out of that hole, Wayne was there.
Mhm.
And so what does that mean when he says, I want the West pasture? And what does that mean after you've lost a child and you've had another child that's damn near mortally wounded? So what we wanted to explore in was more of a burrowing in of internal emotions and bring them to the surface.
What roles does God, faith, and the metaphysical play into Outer Range? It's like a through line of how everybody speaks and feels and experiences what they're going through, in my opinion.
Right. No, I wouldn't disagree with that, but I think, that's kind of what America is. We all seem to lean to a higher power, especially when things are happening that we don't understand. And the whole, as Brolin said about season one, the whole is more about what this man is going through as much as being a physical thing. So when you're dealing with blackness, a void, your faith is what kind of gives you direction. And if your faith is God, then that's what gives you direction. If your faith is something else, you kind of lean toward that. So I think as far as what this show is in terms of those three things, it's you're up against meaning these characters are
Mhm.
up against something that's bigger than them. They're up against something that they have no understanding of, and yet they have to lean to their own understanding. And when you lean to your own understanding, it is pretty much based in where you are spiritually and where you are in your faith.
And season two also introduces now a scientific element where there are somebody from the outside wants to come in and understand what this is flowing through the ground there.
Yeah,
Why
that's in
was it
season one
important?
too.
Why? Sure, yeah, but I think it seems a little stronger in season two. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong. I get the seasons a little mixed up sometimes. I watch them so close together.
No, well, I mean, because that scientist is introduced, and the way she looks at that necklace, she knows something. is going on, right?
Right.
And so what we just did was expand that, you know. So there's a scientific element. I think there's, you know, it's like it's not comparing us to Oppenheimer, but when there's something out there that's not understood, in regards to your not your first question, but your last question, there are those who are going to come from science and there are those who are going to come from faith, right? And
Mhm.
so, especially when there are properties in this thing that A, we don't understand, but B, it kind of has a life of its own, you're going to want to dig into it. Someone's going to want to dig into it. And if these things are happening in the town, we have to posit that somewhere, some scientists, some group of scientists have heard about a mountain disappearing, or, you know, or as Frank says, buffalo, bison coming out of, you know, caves and stuff like that. So that to us was just a continuation of all of the things that people were saying who were in it, being seen by people who constantly have to examine this kind of stuff.